One.
Recording and then streaming.
Streaming in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to the Exit Earth podcast, broadcasting live from Southeast Michigan. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Mark.
And I'm Mike.
Generations XYZ, bringing you intelligent news from an unintelligent perspective. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
I feel like giving my perspective very unintelligently. So.
This is our very first show, so I'm kind of nervous. I
It's
gotta
our
admit.
second show.
Second show, first one we've done
first
live that people are watching.
First real Thursday cast. We've done mini and spin-off episodes, but
Yeah,
this is the main show.
So let's get right to it. Our big topic tonight is non-human intelligence. Before we get to that, we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff we've seen in the news lately relating to science and other topics that we just basically found interesting and pulled out of a hat for you. So our first topic is from a segment we call The Great Stupid, as in the era that we live in now.
From 2016 to indefinite future.
Americans say greater access to news sources is actually making it harder to stay more informed.
I completely agree with that.
So we're contributing to that by making a podcast ourselves for news.
But we're not reporting the news. We're just talking about the news.
That's true.
And the more people who report the news with different perspectives, I think just... Oh, you got beer foamed up there.
That's okay.
It just kind of, I don't know, waters down.
Americans think the media has an important job, but don't think the current institutions are doing it well. Well, the vast majority, 84% of Americans, say the media has an important role to play in democracy. Just 33% have a very favorable or somewhat favorable opinion on the news media. Well, I don't have a very high opinion of the news media.
Same.
At all.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah, I don't know, 43%? Is that what it was? 43?
So of all the major, what news sources can our listeners actually trust? I mean,
Exactly.
I'm maybe I don't know, The Economist.
Economist is all right.
I think...
I mean, definitely not like Fox News or CNN or MSNBC.
Honestly, I get most of my news from Reddit and just as people posting it there.
Yeah, mostly from local news sources that they redirect there.
I think the less immediate the source would be, it would probably be a little more thought out.
Without a doubt.
Kind of just point out, do we count for that?
Do we count?
Yeah.
You should trust us for your news all the time.
We don't pretend to know what
We don't pretend to know what we're talking about.
We acknowledge when we don't know what we're talking about, like everyone should.
We make no promises.
58% of Americans said the proliferation of news sources makes it harder to stay informed. Just half say there are enough news sources to help them cut through bias, down from 66% a generation ago. Unsurprisingly, political polarization is behind a lot of the divergence of Americans' views on news media. I mean, that's pretty much goes without saying. I mean, especially when one major news network guises itself as an entertainment channel rather than an actual news channel. Americans in the whole see far greater bias in the news than they did in the past. I think that's histrionic. I don't think that it's any less yellow journalism than it was before. I just think it's louder.
Oh, yeah, for sure. People have more voice now.
I think it's more yellow journalism.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, exactly is yellow journalism for people who don't know.
With the more news sources there are, there have come to be. I think the more they have to scream and be more outrageous to get attention than draw themselves out.
All for the purpose of advertising.
By
the way, advertisers, you can advertise on the Exit Earth
apparently
podcast.
Tyson is already doing it.
Apparently Tyson Foods already is advertising on our podcast.
Keep it real. Keep it Tyson.
Exactly.
That's what it says right in our corner banner ad right there. I don't know about you guys, but I'm craving some Tyson chicken strips right now.
While there is no strong partisan divide on this question, of the Republicans who could name an objective source, 60% named Fox News.
Of course
as
they
an
did.
objective source.
Of course they did. I think we're getting a
I
little
mean, I shouldn't
bit
be
off.
surprised.
A
But
little bit off.
Democrats are much less uniform, with CNN and NPR leading the way. I would say, NPR has a lot of pieces that are obviously politically biased, but I'd say on the whole, at least they try to remain somewhat objective, or at least their bias is out there for all to see.
And it's really hard to, remain to be unbiased nowadays when reporting political news.
Well, there's no such thing as unbiased news. Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna have their own
They're
bias.
gonna they're not gonna just report it. They're gonna say their opinions about it too.
Well, look at the demographic breakdown. So Fox News, 29% of white people think Fox News is objective, as opposed to 6% black, 14% Hispanic. There's also a huge age gap. 35% of 65 years and older thinks Fox News is objective, while only 15% of people in your age bracket, 16 in mine, and Mike's think that it's objective. So it's definitely playing at the old folks'
Yeah.
home.
Also, I want to mention too. I don't think the window is being captured on the stream, so people can't see.
Oh,
what we're looking
shit.
at. I just noticed that.
First episode, people. Bound to be hiccups. All right. Americans have an overall negative view that Facebook and Twitter have had in the news environment. Well,
There we go. Now it's on.
well,
stream.
You think?
could the flat Earth movement exist without Facebook and Twitter? I would argue no.
how did that become a thing?
Wasn't it just like
How did that become
a
thing?
joke that people took seriously?
Because the Flat Earth Society used to be like a lawyers group that people would join to argue an impossible to defend position.
Is that where it came from?
Yes. a
And now-
long time
Are you
ago.
sure? Because I remember seeing that guy on 60 Minutes or something like 30 years ago.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it's been around for a long time.
Oh my god.
Well, there's that one guy recently who was going to build a rocket to disprove the round Earth theory.
And the
Yeah.
FAA shut him down. And it's all part of the conspiracy. You know? Oh my god.
man. Okay, well. it is-
57% of Americans say that algorithmic story selection represents a major problem for U.S. democracy. I would agree with that. I mean, who writes the algorithms? I mean, that's kind of that's basically the character from 1984 selecting which stories you see and don't see based on what will generate ad revenue. you know what I mean? It's like it's just targeted news.
yeah.
Anyway, that's enough of that subject. Anything else you guys want to say about that?
I don't really have too much to contribute to it.
All right. Montana governor signs order to force net neutrality. So Montana is leading the charge of all states. You'd think that California or a high-tech state would have done
Yeah, really.
this.
But Montana, what do they got? They're like the lowest one of the lowest population states and the most rural state. I'm surprised that they actually did something
Montana's
about it.
funny like that.
Yeah, it is. They're usually, they got a lot of politically active people in their state.
They have nothing else to do.
There's not much to say about it. Just thought you guys would find it interesting.
That's I think is interesting because
Weren't they like the last holdout for the Real ID Act or something too?
Yeah, they were.
So, I mean, they're funny with things like that.
Mhm.
Even though they probably you think they're all like the Fox News crowd, which I don't know if they are or not, but
you usually think that with
Well, you guys ever
rural
seen the
communities.
Living Man?
The Living
What?
Man.
Like, I'll have to show you some other time. It's something that a lot of other podcasts have covered. It's basically this guy that thinks that like he's his own government and no one else can possibly
I've seen a
tell
pretty
what to
funny
do.
video of a guy arguing that with a cop, and he winds up being tased. It's pretty funny.
I am my own government.
That's exactly how he sounds.
You're
too.
breaking the law here. These are my rules.
I thought this was kind of funny. The Kentucky Coal Museum shifts to solar power. So if this doesn't
That's
show you
hilarious.
if this doesn't show you a sign of the times, of our obsolete. And this reminds me, Trump just passed a 30%. We were talking about it on Tuesday, 30% tariff on solar imports from China, supposedly to build up in the industry here. But I still maintain that I think it's a secret conspiracy to keep fossil fuels relevant.
You know that's what he was trying to do anyway.
He's making money off it somehow.
Yeah,
Well,
somehow.
or he's helping his friends make money off of it,
Yeah,
who own the coal companies and stuff like that, which are already.
Someone he knows, or he's making money off it.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Soon
It was like a weird choice: solar power and washing machines. So
You gotta stop Samsung somehow.
someone's making money somehow.
that is definitely interesting.
This was in the news today. This is local. Body broker who sold diseased remains is convicted of fraud.
Is that what he looks like?
That's what he looks like.
Oh my
Don't,
god.
He looks like the guy from Cheers.
That's a
not
hell of a
man I would
mustache.
suspect to be a body broker. He looks too happy. He must enjoy
Well, the
his
thing
job.
about selling bodies, you know, is
My
you get a lot
grandfather
less
told me
for them
one
if they're
thing.
diseased, so you got to kind of cover that up.
I gotta see him having that voice like, my grandfather told me one thing about selling bodies.
It's a family business. It's like third generation body part dealer.
So
Yeah.
they were diseased. What was the?
Yeah,
Were
doesn't
they
say what they were infected
Were
with.
they just spoiled or something, or what?
Spoiled bodies.
I'm looking ahead here.
He's selling abnormal brains.
Abby normal.
Abby somebody? Abby
Yeah.
someone?
Abby someone? Yes. An abnormal brain.
Reuters reported last month the authorities found 4 fetuses, each in its second trimester during the warehouse raid. It is illegal to sell fetuses,
That is
so
true.
he got caught doing that to begin with.
Selling fetuses.
Rathburn was not charged with doing so, and it's unclear how the fetuses were acquired.
Kind
How are there just like fetuses just
I just
float-
found him here.
I
Just
swear
walking down
off.
the street, and it was there.
fucking fetus. Kind of brought up a good point. Were they supposed to be diseased?
Oh my god. Discovery of the fetuses, however, may be raised during the sentencing phase.
But were they supposed to be diseased? Like, or were they just infected?
I don't know.
and-
I think in a previous article they were talking about it, but it says, as a part of the series, a reporter purchased 2 human heads and a spine from a broker in Tennessee. Deals made with just a few emails at the cost of $900 plus shipping.
It only cost $900
So for the
for
price-
2 human heads.
So for the price of a
So it's
price
like
of a
$400
mid-range
for a head.
yeah, for a price of a mid-range guitar, you can get 2 heads and a spine.
Wow.
That's a pretty decent PC as well.
I'm in the wrong collecting hobby.
Yeah, I collect human heads. Well, I wonder how that business call went down. It's like, hey, can you give me 2 heads? Well, that also comes with the spine. You get a spine for
I'll
free.
throw in a spine.
Okay, enough about this guy.
At least he looks like he enjoys what he does.
Oh, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while.
Boy.
Saddam Hussein wrote a romantic novel, and you can buy it on Amazon. If somebody wants to buy us this book so we can read it live on the air.
I wonder who the main character is. Like, what are his motivations?
You can send it to somebody for it's called Zabiba and the King.
Zabiba and the King.
It's a perfect gift for Valentine's Day.
Can't think of what to
If
get.
you get it, I'll read it in the voice of Gilbert Gottfried.
And what says romance like it's a 160-page allegorical love story written by a dictator. Apparently, it's a giant. The plot set thousands of years ago. Features a love story between an Iraqi king, no prize for guessing who that's based on, and a lowly villager called Zabiba, who represents the people in this poorly veiled metaphor. The characters' relationships develop as they discover religion, nationalism, and other heartwarming topics. Oh my god.
Thousands of years ago, in Iraq.
Oh my god.
We really need to. I just want to read the first few chapters, or like the first few lines.
One of 4 novels attributed to Hussein.
Oh, where are the other
Who
3?
are the others?
Though, I don't know. On the whole, his novels tended to focus on a heroic protagonist. Damned One Get Out of Here featured the story of an Arab warrior who saved his home from town from a plot to revolt and overthrow the leader.
Oh my god.
Novel featured a foreword by Hussein's daughter.
So Connor just put in. Apparently, he looked it up on Amazon. Apparently, it cost more used than new. I wonder why.
Oh my god. That's just great. So if you're looking for that last minute Valentine's Day gift, guys. No, that says I love you like Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein's romantic novel set thousands of years ago.
It's a science fiction epic.
German nurse has once
Oh.
again been charged with murder.
Pause the video here. Yeah, did you hear about this? This German nurse who has killed hundreds of people is alleged to have killed 97 more after they already sentenced him. And he did it because he was bored.
It wasn't
But-
working.
Okay, it's a he then.
Yeah, a German nurse who allegedly killed his victims out of boredom has been charged with 97 murders, potentially making him one of the country's deadliest serial killers. So basically, he'd inject people to get them to die, and then he'd revive them to impress his coworkers.
Wow.
So he wasn't intentionally killing people. He was just trying to impress people by killing them and bringing them back to life.
Yeah, but except it doesn't work like in the movies, and the CPR and stuff does not work every time.
No. It's like
So, what took him so long to find this guy?
Said he felt. I'm not sure about how long it took them to find him, but it sounds almost like it was addictive. In his own words, he said he felt euphoric when he managed to bring a patient back to life and devastated when he failed.
oh,
Was he doing it to feel like a hero or something?
Exactly.
probably, but I mean, once you do that, how many times? Like total of 197.
We can check out the video. Let's check out the video.
Okay.
Maybe it explains how they caught the guy.
Hopefully it's not too loud on
During
stream. Let us know if it
patients,
is.
He now faces 97 cases of murder. Now, prosecutors say he killed his patients out of boredom. He's currently serving a life sentence for killing 6 people.
I mean, this was a case that Germany has been following now for years. He was already sentenced on charges of 6 different murders. And when investigators looked back at those murders, they found traces of certain drugs in the patient's body. And what they had suspected is that this nurse was injecting the drugs into the patients in order to then
So they found it via autopsy on mysterious deaths that people were just dying suddenly.
So that's how they caught him.
revive them and then be proclaimed a hero. And when they went and looked back, they did weeks and months of toxicology tests and so forth. And what they realized is that they had, possibly 97 different murder cases on their hands. And so this is what's happened today. The prosecutor has charged the nurse with 97 more of these murders. And again, it's not necessarily out of boredom exactly, but apparently in court, this nurse, known here as Niels H. for privacy reasons, has said that he did it because he had a certain amount of euphoria whenever he was able to revive a patient.
Oh my God.
But then, if he failed, he fell into this despair. And it was this sort of cycle where he would then inject another patient with drugs in the hope that he would be able to experience that euphoria of saving another life again.
So he was addicted to saving
Yeah,
lives.
he's addicted to saving people, but then when he failed at it, he had to make himself feel better by saving more people.
So he saved someone's life, and I was like, wow, that felt pretty good.
Yeah.
What alignment is that in D&D? Chaotic stupid?
Chaotic stupid.
Yeah, I don't even know what you call that.
Well, okay. Actually, Michael brought up something funny. I wonder if he had to up the sense of danger each time.
Oh my God.
Like he had to make it more miraculous, I guess, every time he did it in order to keep his euphoric
He
high.
had to have a halo on when people were coming back.
Jesus.
Or maybe he stopped doing poison and started oh no, they're bleeding. Let me do a quick blood transfusion.
Jeez, that's crazy. Oh my
Or
God.
Michael trying to save multiple people at once. That'd be pretty impressive.
It's like
What a euphoric rush.
it's like a chess master, but with people instead of chessboards, playing multiple games at the same time.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy's going away to prison forever.
Oh yeah, he's going bye-bye.
So, and less likewise, this topic is going bye-bye. So enough about him.
All right, so
He's gotten his 15 minutes.
people watching the stream, was the video too loud? I just want to make sure. Okay, so what topic we're moving on to now?
We're all doomed. There's a ticking time
Yeah.
bomb under the Arctic.
Yeah.
There's going to be basically a giant carbon fart that's going to release more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere than we've ever released, ever.
Connor, what's new?
That's ever. I can't stress this enough. There's going to be more carbon released by this melting permafrost due to the dead corpses and things in it from
That have never been thawed out.
Yeah,
in
from
millions of
millennia
years.
of evolution. There's gonna be more. There's gonna be more of these things releasing carbon in the air than we've ever released in our entire history on the planet Earth, and we've done enough damage already.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just gonna compound this. So
We're almost at the tipping point.
yeah,
Is there a historical precedent for this sort of thing?
yeah, there is. It's called the Permian extinction.
Oh, great.
It killed 80% of all land life.
Is that what it
No,
was?
80% of all sea life and 30% of all land life. Permian extinction 2, electric boogaloo. That's what I'm
Right.
calling this.
So said either Arctic frost melting or a Yellowstone supervolcano. Pick your poison.
Yeah.
But everyone is saying that the audio on the video was fine, so
That's
that's a
good to
good thing.
Yeah, everything's going good.
So what about the methane fart in Siberia?
That's the same problem. This
Yeah.
is a new one.
Oh, so it's
We-
a double fart.
We are screwed.
We just call it the Great Dutch Oven or something.
Yeah.
That's the name of the podcast.
So in the name of the Exit Earth podcast, let's each pitch our idea for how to survive this coming apocalypse. Mark, what's your idea?
like actual idea.
It doesn't matter. Remember,
Well,
this is
real
intelligent
idea,
topics from
let's start
unintelligent people.
planting as many trees as we can. Bad idea. Let's just leave.
I don't know, man.
I'm thinking ocean, man, under the ocean, because you can get oxygen from the ocean. You can with reverse desalination, you can get oxygen. Oxidization.
So like build Rapture.
Yeah, build Rapture under the sea. I think that's our only hope.
Okay, chat. What's your suggestion? So far, we got start building biodomes, gas masks, cover the ice caps in cement. And Rapture without drugs.
Well, maybe we can burn it all for fuel. New fossil fuel source.
What?
Literally fossils.
Oh, fossils.
Literally fossils.
Actual fossil fuels.
Oh my god.
Nice. Yeah, so we're all fucked. We need to leave.
So there's grasses that have been. This is amazing, actually. There's grasses that have been preserved in this tunnel for 25,000 years.
Holy shit.
A tunnel? What do you mean a tunnel?
The tunnel they dug into to find this melting permafrost. 100,000 years of buried animals and plants.
Nice.
All those farts are gonna get released into the atmosphere.
And you know what else is worse? All the diseases they think this might erupt, because there's bacteria and
Oh, yeah, they've
viruses
been isolated for all this time.
and all types of things that are supposed to be under this permafrost that is just going to release once this goes supernova.
Like the smallpox victims they were talking about digging up in Alaska.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some town or the whole town died out, and they were going to dig
And
up
there's-
their bodies to get a sample of pure smallpox or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or pure. No, it was the flu. It was the 1918 flu.
Oh, the Spanish
The
influenza.
Spanish flu.
Oh
And they
wow.
were going to dig them up, and I'm thinking, yeah, that always ends well.
I was going to say fun fact, but more like scary fact. The Spanish influenza killed more people in 2 years than all of World War One. So,
Shut the war down for a month.
yeah, exactly. So we are screwed. So if anybody's got any ideas and you want to let us know what your idea is, email us at exitearthpodcast@gmail.com. We promise you we'll get right to work on that idea. Saving the three of us
Yeah.
and whoever suggested it. But no one else.
Sarah, you can come too.
Sarah can come too. Okay. And I guess if you're a loyal viewer, you get to come. So subscribe.
So we got Connor and Michael.
And maybe like 2 or 3 other people that are watching the stream right now.
I can't see how many people are actually watching it right now, so I'm just going off of who's active in the chat.
Yeah, so we are totally screwed. So,
On to brighter news. Should we move on to our main topic about how other creatures are gonna do better than us in the future?
yeah, let's do that. I gotta find where we started at. All right. So, we're going to talk about our big idea for today is intelligent life on the planet Earth, which we're conveniently going to kill along with us, apparently. But
I don't think
Unless
all
they
the
breathe carbon
animals are gonna die.
dioxide.
unless they breathe carbon dioxide, so the trees shall inherit the Earth.
Trees, I think some invasive species. The Asian carp.
It was a mistranslated Bible quote. It wasn't the meek shall inherit the earth. It was the leaves shall
leaves.
inherit the earth.
No, you meant the leeks.
The leeks.
Yeah, the leeks.
leeks
Like the
shall
plants.
inherit
The
the earth.
leeks. All right, so the most pressing question on my mind, and we'll get to this in a little bit, is just how close are we to Planet of the Apes? That's what scares me the most.
Yeah, there's already a monkey in the news that wanted to deal with the problem of humanity.
Let's just start there. This is why Chinese businessmen killed by falling rock that monkey pushed.
Former chairman of a Shanghai food company, Wang Mao, died after he was struck in the head by a falling rock that had been pushed by a monkey. The primate in question was a macaque monkey, which is a second-class protected animal species in China and lives at the nature park on Yuntai Mountain in Henan, China. Although Wang was immediately rushed to the hospital following the accident, he succumbed to his injuries and died. The 67-year-old Wang was reportedly visiting the nature reserve as part of a photo shooting activity organized by the Shanghai Yelv travel agency.
So yeah, the monkeys are trying to take down the man.
Yep.
Isn't that the same kind of monkey they just cloned?
Could be.
I think it was.
That they just caught?
The
No,
Chinese macaque.
They just cloned a monkey, and it was a macaque.
Oh my God. They've infiltrated the Chinese government.
They're taking down the business. So apparently that guy's company was like a food manufacturing company famous for candy. And yeah, this killed the main guy.
I'm telling you, these animals, they're intelligent. They just kill off harmless candy
I wonder.
makers.
Well, here's the thing
Must
though.
have
Did the
pissed it
monkey
off
know?
somehow.
Yeah, that's what starts. Did the monkey purposely do it? It pushed a boulder onto someone's head.
Well, that is the question that's one of the questions we're talking about tonight. With animal intelligence, does a monkey realize what murder actually is? And, I would say yes. Because
Death to Willy Wonka. Nice, sir.
because other apes, great apes, maybe not a monkey, but apes certainly do. Because if you notice here, bonobos are tool users. They can use bamboo sticks to eat out of termite mounds. They fish for termites. They've been observed using rocks to open up things. Like, they definitely realize that they can kill stuff to get a gain, right?
Yeah.
And they definitely fight and kill each other. So it's just a matter of time till Charlton Heston's nightmare becomes our reality.
Until there's some sort of virus that's introduced to stop dementia, but instead it makes the apes more
I've
intelligent.
seen that movie. No, but seriously, it is pretty
Andy
fascinating.
Serkis plays one of them.
I've
People
seen
underrated.
videos of chimpanzees creating a gauntlet and running another chimp right through it to corral him, and then he just brain him and killed him. And
Oh my
just
God.
ate him.
Jesus.
So, and it was kind of like the scene with Charlton Heston in Planet of the Apes when they were running him through the field.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So, I don't know where I saw that video, but I know they have videos of that sort of
I'm
thing
sure there's
where
videos of-
They set up a gauntlet, and the others just kind of corralled the one and directed him through into the gauntlet, and the ones at the end were waiting for him. And
Jeez. Well, you know what? You think, okay, well, maybe the apes they're too much like us. Maybe that's why they're evil and can kill people. Oh yeah?
Yeah?
Well, what about dolphins? Dolphins swim in the sea. They're nice, right?
No.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
There's
dolphins.
dicks.
Don't you know dolphins and whales drop the atomic bombs?
But for good news for our swimming mammal friends, the Vancouver Aquarium will no longer keep whales, dolphins in captivity.
Good.
This is part of a growing change in keeping these kind of animals in these enclosures, because all they do is pretty much go nuts and attack people and get depressed, because they're
'cause
not
well,
designed to they're
They're
not
intelligent beings. They're not designed to be caged up.
exactly. So this is part of what we want
James,
to talk
if you were in
about
this,
tonight.
if you're in this room, this caged up while people were watching you, you would go insane within a minute.
Oh no. Well, it's a good thing that we have a low viewer count. No, but our the dolphins here, and oh man, I forgot my point. You made me forget my point.
I forget. Let's see what the chat said. Dolphins can masturbate with fish corpses, so how is that evil? Not evil. Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks for sharing.
Now I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
So one of the things they talk about with non-human intelligence is in the case of whales, should they be classified as non-human persons? And what that means is, do they actually have rights in of themselves based on the level of intelligence they have?
Well, I mean, don't certain pets have rights too?
Really?
Like, well, they have like pet insurance and stuff like that, and if you
So if something can be insured,
yeah,
it has civil rights.
A house, no.
So how do you give them those rights?
That's a big question.
Well, I think it's kind of like humanitarian rights, like the right to have a comfortable living space,
Well,
food and water.
Where do we draw the line? 'Cause,
Food, water, and internet, right? That's all they need.
Right. Where do we draw the line? Because I mean, animals are delicious. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, they're
we
made
don't
out of meat.
eat. I mean, pigs are
Just like us.
pigs are intelligent. I was about to say we don't really eat intelligent species, but pigs are very intelligent.
pigs are more intelligent than dogs and cats are.
So it's like
Octopus are
Yes.
a lot more intelligent than people.
yeah, they got brains in each part of their body.
You know,
We have got to eat the octopi and the squids before they eat us. I mean, I've read Call of Cthulhu. I know how this works. They're gonna be rising from the ocean depths with an elder god at their sides, and they're gonna take us all over. It's what's going to happen right before the stupid Earth fart that kills us all.
And then before the apes take over as well, there'll be a war between apes and octopus.
they're made out of ape octopus.
I'm putting my money on the octopi. That's what I'm putting.
Yeah, they got 8 arms. They can carry like 6 knives coming at you. Yeah, like when they get to the point, like Michael said something earlier in the chat where it's like, is this the peak of their intelligence, or are they still evolving?
Well, that that touches on a. I wanted to expand more on this on a separate podcast, but there's this disturbing idea that has come across in scientific publications that maybe we're domesticating ourselves.
Oh, I
Like
believe that.
not only are we domesticating animals, but if you look at the disparity between the height between female humans and male humans over time, they've gotten about the same. And like Paleo Indians the males used to be much stronger, and whatever. And the women selected a height and an attitude and for intelligence that was less brutish and more towards intelligence and more towards cooperation. Mm-hmm. So we're actually domesticating ourselves at the same time, which is pretty disturbing, if you ask me. I don't know. It's a good thing, I guess.
Why is it disturbing?
It's just disturbing that like we're farming. We're like farm animals in our own farm. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be running the farm, aren't we? I guess it's not as disturbing is the wrong word, but like
It's interesting.
unsettling to me. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, but Sarah just brought up a good point. I forgot to think about this, but every animal is intelligent because they're alive. But we're just thinking of
Well, then you have to define what intelligence is, and that's
Yeah.
that's more for an artificial intelligence segment.
but yeah.
Intelligent or conscious?
Yeah, I think you mean conscious, because a starfish doesn't have any brain; it just has a central nerve ring. Is it truly intelligent? Does it actually learn, or is it just a mouth that has feelers?
Mouth and anus.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's the same. That, if I remember correctly, is the same hole for them.
Oh shit.
Right.
Well, anyway, let's look at 6 species proving that we're not alone on this planet in terms of intelligence. So, of course, we talked about the great apes. So, dolphins. We talked about dolphins, too. Elephants. Elephants will actually mourn and bury their dead.
Yeah. Baby elephants are adorable. I love baby elephants. They're cute.
Yeah, elephants are another one that. Yeah.
Crows.
Oh, absolutely. There's that story I was telling him where some Norwegian company is training crows to pick up cigarette butts, deposit them in these little buckets, and then food is dispensed.
Well, crows are interesting because they can recognize people by their face.
Yeah, they're frighteningly smart.
They've had somebody wear a mask and then mess with them, and the crows will
Like they'll
get
react
pissed
to
at
that.
they react to that person, be all
Yeah.
pissed off, and then the same person will go out there not wearing the mask, and they don't recognize him. Then they go back out wearing the mask, and the crows see him, and he's like, "There's that asshole again."
There's that asshole throwing rocks at me.
And they, yeah,
I had a friend in high school who was a farmer, and he used to say that there was a crow on the end of his property that he always line up his gun to shoot because the crow annoyed him, and the crow would wait right before he was about to pull the trigger and then fly off every time.
Oh my god.
Like it would predict that he was gonna shoot him. But they definitely are problem solvers, and they're tool users too.
Yeah, were
Yes.
they observed dropping nuts in the busy streets and having cars crack the nuts and they get the fruit out of it?
I didn't
so
even
there's
know
a
about
certain amount
that.
of planning there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they know that the cars are heavy and they will break these nuts if they put them on this road. So they drop them there. The car's running over, then they go and grab the fruit, and then they run away.
Here's something I didn't know. There's certain species of fish that will actually use rock tools to crush open crustaceans and clams.
Yeah, I've heard about this. And I've seen a video of it too. It's pretty interesting. They just pick it up and kind of...
I really don't want to think that the fish in my fish tank less than 10 feet from here are actually actively thinking. I mean, they're terrified of me every time I show it up, even if I'm the one that brings
I think
food.
even a goldfish has personality and a certain amount
Oh,
of
yeah.
intelligence.
I've seen videos of like koi fish, like people wrangling koi fish.
Yeah.
Where they'll whistle to them and they'll all follow them around the pool and they'll feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do tricks too.
You can teach fish tricks?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
The guy taught his fish how to run a little gauntlet of like hoops and stuff and like jumping out of hoops, and he would get food every time he jumped through a hoop.
Well, when I lived up by Richmond, I had the pond, and it was full of perch and stuff like that. And they'd see me, they'd come up because I would feed them. So I mean, they knew me as a source of food.
Yeah, my fish just fear me.
I'll feed your
They
ass.
don't love me at all. Even when I feed them,
I think as a general rule, in terms of animals, they're a lot more intelligent and aware than people realize.
Oh,
yeah, for
definitely. And last but not least, the octopi.
Yes.
Sure. Octopodes.
Oh boy, yeah, we agreed that instead of octopi, there should be octopodes because it sounds funnier.
Laptop died.
Laptop
I
died.
can look at the stream on my phone.
All right, we're switching to monitor the stream on the phone. But octopi are frighteningly intelligent. Not only do they have the learning capability of a child, they can think in 3 dimensions. They can communicate multiple overlaid messages with their color changing skin to each other. And they learn. They're problem solvers. I remember there was an octopus that was observed getting out of its tank.
Yep.
Shut
It would
like
crawl back in too.
yeah, breaking a light that it didn't like, and then crawling back in.
Yeah. Well, there was another. They kept wondering why the sharks in the one tank kept dying. And
'Cause
they
it was
set up a
eating them.
camera. The octopus was crawling out, crawling over, going to the tank, strangled the thing, and then crawled back into its tank. And I guess there's a
scary.
video somewhere of 2 octopi tossing a ball back or not a ball, like a rock back and forth to each other like they're playing ball.
Oh, jeez.
And
It's a shame because they're so tasty. I love it.
See, that's why I worry about cannibalism. Is it the more intelligent you are, the more delicious you are? Is that why the apes are going to rise up and eat us?
I mean, are humans tasty? I don't know.
Apparently, we taste like veal or pork.
I could. See
I know
pork.
that from personal experience. No, It's-
I know there's that guy. Like, but it's just so hard to taste, I guess, because I know there's stories about people like this guy in England who wanted to taste himself. So he's like, okay, can I take a little bit of my leg tissue, cook that and eat it? He's like, no, it's illegal. Can I take my leg tissue, break it down to its chemical components, and make that into an artificial flavoring to taste? They're like, no.
there was
Can't do that.
There was a performance artist in Japan that had his non-essential organs removed and served them up to people as food
Oy.
for like
Oh my
so
God.
many hundreds of
I
dollars
think
a
Stephen
plate.
King covered this whole thing in a story, I think in Skeleton Crew, about a guy who got stuck on an island.
Oh my. Well, if you guys haven't tried octopi sushi, is very good.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to octopus. Sarah said there's also a similar video where an aquarium had mysteriously lost some fish because of the octopus.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh wait, another thing, Connor said, the blanket octopus can rip a poisonous tentacle from a Portuguese man o' war and
Oh, that's right.
and wield it like a sword to ward off enemies. That's awesome.
Really?
I forgot about
I
that.
never heard that one.
That's fucking badass. See, octopus. That's how they'll take over. They'll get man o' war spears, and they'll charge us on the beaches.
Some animals can count. This disturbs me.
Which ones?
They say that bears, bottlenose dolphins, angelfish, monitor lizards, and I know that African gray parrots can do basic geometry.
Like what?
Like they understand triangles and squares and things like that.
How'd they figure that out?
I have no idea.
Be scared.
But there was an African gray parrot that the day before it died, it kind of knew it was sick, and it went, goodbye!
Yeah, it's I love you, mama, or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that.
That's sad. Goodbye. Probably said it so cheerfully too.
Exactly. Here we go. Animal consciousness. Mirror tests. So apparently they test to see if an animal understands its own reflection by putting it up against a mirror. Fish, I know, don't pass this test.
Cats.
Cats do not.
My cat doesn't. One of my.
Cats just don't give a shit.
They just. I mean, they just make the weirdest expressions when they see themselves in the mirror. They just stare at it.
I thought this was kind of funny. They can't test hedgehogs for some levels of intelligence because they just always roll into a ball whenever they're threatened. So they can't really tell how intelligent hedgehogs are. Or maybe that's what they want you to think. That's what I'm thinking.
So you're saying that the war is going to be between octopus, apes, and hedgehogs.
And the hedgehogs will
They're
win.
gonna throw the hedgehogs at each other.
And the apes will throw the hedgehogs at the octopus. Then the hedgehogs will turn on the apes and the octopus.
Somewhere there's some alien culture talking about how humanoids are so primitive and can't possibly know about, like, you know, some arcane subject that we have no comprehension
Yeah,
of.
it's like the hedgehogs understand that our world has ley lines. And they're manipulating the magic. They're too fast to stop.
This talks about communications between animals and humans. You know what? Really inspired this whole segment to me is when I was a kid, Coco the gorilla, that learned all the sign language.
Mm-hmm.
That always blew me away as a kid. That you could actually talk to a orangutan or a gorilla in that case, or I think they've taught chimpanzees how to do that. And
Oh, yeah.
you know, if you've never been, as much as I always say, there's only two great things about Ohio: leaving it and never going there. There is a great thing in Ohio. In the Columbus Zoo, they have a bonobo exhibit, and you really do feel a sense of kinship with these creatures when you're observing them and interacting with them. That there's something more there than with any other animal I've ever encountered, especially
Yeah,
in a
because
zoo
you kind
setting.
of like see them as people almost.
Bonobos, or in particular? or-
Bonobos in particular, yeah. Bonobo, great band, by the way.
Bonobo. Yeah. It's like you watch those videos too, where the people are performing magic tricks to like orangutans and stuff like that, and their reactions are so funny.
Yeah, I saw.
It
a
was just
video.
like-
yeah, there's a video, some Japanese TV show. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, where the guy was doing
Might be.
tricks for a
was
chimp, and it was like totally
just
freaking
freaking
him
out,
out.
like,
And
they
he
go
would
so,
like
"Whoa!"
hug his mind, his minder or whatever the guy was. Every time the trick like blew his mind.
Have you seen these, James? Like the monkey. Okay, look up the monkeys
I was
reacting
just,
to magic tricks.
I was listening to you guys, but I saw this Toby the sapient pig, and I'm like, what? What is that?
the sentient pig.
So what am I looking up?
Monkeys react to magic. They're always great. Yeah, this one I was thinking of. There's like a little ball in the cup trick. It's like, here's the ball. Okay. Cover up the cup. Shake it up. No ball. Wait for it. He's like, hold on a minute.
Took him a second.
Okay, if you can understand magic tricks, you're intelligent. That's the official Exit Earth podcast position on magic.
You
You can be
crazy
amazed by a
guy.
magic
If
trick.
you can be amazed by a magic trick, you're intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
The guys
Because you understand what should have happened, and realizing that it's not there is hilarious.
If you're smart enough to be confused.
Yeah.
Let's see an orangutan.
I've seen one with like card tricks where it's like little capuchin monkeys, and they freak out.
Who's always doing a card trick for an orangutan?
Like his stick.
He changed the card. He's inspecting it with this little stick.
Wait a minute.
Oh, he got it on the other side of the glass. Okay, I don't even know how he did that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How,
What the hell? It's like, hold on a minute.
Okay, this is awesome. I gotta watch more of these in my off the podcast.
So Connor says, so object permanence is the test.
Yes, object
Yeah.
permanence is the test. That's
Interesting.
what I think. 7 examples of interspecies communication. Coco the gorilla, which you talk about, Kanzi the bonobo, Nim the chimpanzee, Peter the dolphin.
Peter the dolphin.
Oh, I remember this. This is like one of the horrible experiments that should never be done again. Lily had a male dolphin named Peter to live with a female research associate, Margaret Howe, for 10 weeks.
Oh, I heard about this story. This is great.
In a home filled with enough water so Peter could swim and Howe could wade. Howe slept in a waterlogged bed and taught Peter English lessons, with him imitating the sounds she made and learning to retrieve objects on command. But the ultimate result of experiment, Peter began to show sexual aggression towards Howe. Lily wrote about this experiment and his other work with dolphins between the years 1955 and 1978. Alex the great parrot, which is what I was talking about, knew over 100 words, could count up to 6 and sometimes 8, and could identify various shapes and colors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the funny thing about that dolphin story is that she had to actually start jacking off the dolphin to calm it down.
Here's some video of Coco
Penny
the
would make
gorilla.
the sign for drink and then help Coco do the same.
See, this amazed
The
me when I
signs
was a
for
kid.
eat and more came
I thought it was
next.
like Dr. Doolittle.
If
We
you
could
watch
talk to
Coco
animals,
closely,
you know.
she's
Find the
learning to
video
put her
of Mr.
fingertips to
Rogers.
her mouth to sign eat. And her fingertips together to sign.
Oops, I spelled Rogers wrong. How dare I? And I was a huge Mr. Rogers fan when I was a kid.
Shame.
How do you say love? Oh. For sign language. How do you say love?
Can you show him how to say love? How do you say love? What? That flower. She's asking you about your cufflink. Is that a flower?
That's a sun. And my grandfather gave me the...
Sun. It looks like a flower, though.
Does look like
Can
a
we
flower.
talk? Can we talk a little bit about
Oh my
love?
God.
Frown. Oh, honey.
Wow.
Love.
That's just amazing to me.
Love.
Yeah, that's incredible.
You.
Oh, it's that?
It says,
Oh.
love you. Visit. Love.
Okay, this blew me away, though. Trees talking. We are doomed.
It's
okay?
Avatar. It's James Cameron's Avatar. Plug yourself into the tree network and just...
So apparently, trees can communicate via network. They literally make ad hoc networks, chemical networks through what can I think? Fungi.
Oh, like mycelium?
Yeah.
Well, there's that one... it's Van Gordon Forest. But there's that one forest... I forget, I think it's like somewhere in Washington, or I might be thinking of the mycelium, but there's like, it's like this entire forest is just one organism.
Yeah, Pando.
Yeah, Pando, that's what it was.
Is it a forest or is it
It's
mycelium in France? I think it was. There's something.
Yeah, there's a mycelium
Yeah,
in
France or
France
Switzerland.
that goes all the way to Switzerland.
Yeah,
and,
they're
like,
all the trees
Poland.
are identical clones of each other.
Yeah.
That's right. It's an aspen forest or something like that.
Yeah. But, okay, here's the thing, though. What do trees need to communicate, really?
They're chopping us down.
Sugar and carbon, nutrients and water, and fungi, apparently.
Like communicating like, oh man, there's a gust of wind today. Hey, did you get that? Did you deal with your squirrel problem?
I think it'd be more along the lines of squirrel problem. I think it'd be more along the lines of was there a forest fire? I mean, it seems pretty extreme to me. Apparently it's a cooperative relationship.
So could they have personalities?
I don't know.
Like, tree ants are the next step in evolution after we all die from the giant fart.
This is one of those things that's just so interesting. I don't really know what to say about it. You know what I mean? Like it's bleeding edge science too.
Oh yeah.
So
It's like better than fit. Okay, I still got some time left of my stream.
All right, I can grab a power pack if we need to.
Okay, but I think we're good for a while.
Okay. What were you saying, Michael?
I'm just you know, where do intelligence and personality mix or diverge? Or
I don't know if the tree would have personality, but maybe it'd have an accent. If it's specifically French tree.
I am the French tree.
I mean, like a dolphin. Or don't forget trees, but I mean any kind of animal.
I think they would.
How they develop personality.
Personality.
Well,
Where's
each
the
individual
personality come from?
When you think of like whale calls, like we can identify different whales through their calls.
Well, do you need to
that's
have
language.
self?
That's language.
That's language.
Yeah.
Would it not be considered
personality?
Like,
Yeah. Do you need to have what I wonder is, do you need to have self-awareness in order to have personality? Like, because that means that maybe because dogs and cats have personality, but not every dog and cat recognizes it's an individual, or you know that it.
I don't think you need self-awareness to have personality, but I think it comes with. I think any true sentience has to have some self-awareness.
Oh, apparently, so they're saying if one has too many nutrients, it can transfer it to the other trees around it. So that's pretty big.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just about wraps it up for our big idea. You guys want to go back to talk about some more news?
Well, do you have any more segments we want to get to?
Well, well, before we get into back to the news. So what's our verdict on how close we are to the Planet of the Apes? I think we're pretty far off. Until we can
far off, but it's a possibility in the near future, right?
I think there'll be bionic apes.
Bionic apes?
There'll be bionic apes that survive the giant earth fart. And we'll
They're just biding their time, man. They're just biding their time.
All right. So back to some more news articles. This was pretty profound to me. Chinese researchers use an AI algorithm to determine people with suicidal thoughts before they commit suicide. So there's more and more predictive technology coming out, and this one.
So how do they test it without letting people kill themselves?
That is an excellent question,
Yeah.
because it's effectively a quantum problem. Every year, nearly 800,000 people commit suicide worldwide, and more than 60% of these cases reported are from Asia. Wow. Suicide is the chief cause of death for youths in China.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Well, probably 60% of the people in the world are in Asia. So
Yeah, you got more people there.
According to Xinhua News, Zhu's team collected language patterns from more than 4,000 microbloggers who had earlier expressed suicidal thoughts on Weibo. That's like Weibo is like
Japanese Facebook type?
Yeah, pretty much.
Chinese Facebook, sorry.
Yeah. These language patterns were then fed into an AI system to help enable similar patterns on the website. The team also created a special AI account. The AI account scans thousands of messages on the social network and identifies people expressing suicidal thoughts. That is scary.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a big problem in Asian countries like that, especially China, because there's such a gender disparity in the population. Like, not every man can get a woman in China.
Well, the disturbing thing is the picture is of a woman standing on a bridge here. So, I mean, it's both men and women that are doing these things.
Yeah. Well, it's like also the way that their business culture works and stuff. It's super stressful. So
The way I heard it expressed best from a scientist was humans don't breed well in captivity. And with such a huge population and such a low margin for moving up socially through the ranks, it's got to be really stressful. But that's not really what bothers me so much. Is it ethical to make an AI script to save people's lives that intrudes on privacy to that degree? Like, where does the line drawn between the ethics of saving people's lives versus the Big Brother aspect? I mean, this is China, so they don't really have a say. Mm-hmm. But if they release this kind of technology in the U.S., would it be accepted? Like, would it be ethical?
Well, the whole way...
I think meme culture would make it not work.
Yeah, meme culture would absolutely not make it work.
Memes. There'd be too many people trying to pretend to commit suicide to spoof.
Someone's gonna post about Tide Pods, and then immediately the suicide prevention's gonna show up at their door.
Yeah.
Would that bother people in the West more than it would bother people in the East?
Well, I think that's without question.
We have more like
there's more individualism in the West, and there's more collectivism in the East. So,
right. So,
I mean, I don't know. Are you saying like, it'll be a violation of privacy, for sure?
I'm not sure how I come down on it either way.
Because I mean, the way we've been handling privacy in this country is it's kind of been like, oh, we get upset about it at first, then we forget about it, and then actively just throw our information out there, you know? So, I mean...
Yeah, now we can unlock our phone with our face, so Apple's got our facial biometric data.
So, it's like people freak out about this stuff initially, and then they just forget about it. Oh, God, now they're just talking about Tide Pods.
It was just a problem of how to sell it to people. Because you got all the privacy violations in the world now, but...
Wow, apparently they're expanding this program to Canada already.
Really?
Yeah.
But Canadians are so happy.
Actually, they have a huge suicide problem with Indigenous people in Canada.
Oh, yeah. Well, aren't most of the Indigenous people living in the polar regions, too? Which already have a high suicide rate?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily,
okay.
No. So that's an ethic question. So if you guys got an opinion about that, make a response video or
they're just talking about Tide Pods.
We're talking about Tide Pods.
They're just talking about the different flavors.
Well, I hope we're still
How did
entertaining.
That become a thing?
I don't know.
How did
Tide
that
Pods.
become a thing?
It's just like it's an evolution.
This kind of stupid shit come
it's
from?
an evolution of the bleach meme.
Which
just means I want to die.
There are
like,
two.
I'm gonna drink bleach
what
and
bleach
die.
meme? I mean, I
It's like people are like, oh, I'm gonna go drink some bleach, like saying I'm suicidal.
I've heard of, I need some eye bleach after somebody posts some.
Yeah, and now people are
picture,
like, I think it all started with people saying, "Hey, Tide Pods look tasty."
You know what?
Because they're very colorful and.
As Einstein said, there are two things that are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. So I don't.
Yeah.
But I actually had to get videos of people eating Tide Pods because I wanted to put it in the intro to this podcast, the intro video, to show how much.
We'll be getting. People. Speaking of which, we're working on an intro video. We'll be getting one soon. We're also working on segment videos too.
Yeah.
So.
And watching people eat these things, they just explode in their mouth, and they're instantly just like.
What did they expect?
Exactly. That's what
the
I'm
hell
thinking. They're like, oh man, here I go.
A lot of times,
and they're stuck like that for like 10 minutes.
A lot of the problems in the world
so horrible.
Well, it immediately breaks the blood-brain barrier. I mean, it's like
there's all sorts of horrible things that barrier. Does.
There's a barrier of blood vessels between you and your brain that prevents chemicals from getting into it.
Right.
And those chemicals are so toxic. I mean, they eat through concrete. They go right through the blood barrier.
Yeah.
Right into the brain. So even if they're spitting it out, it's already in their system. Like.
Oh yeah.
Like into their. I mean.
Well, it's Darwin asserting his authority.
That's what I said.
I mean, sometimes that's how I feel.
Really, it has to be.
Why do we stop Darwin from asserting his rightful authority sometimes?
Oh, boy. Well, anyway, moving on to espionage.
Ooh.
So China apparently has been infiltrating U.S. classrooms, facing criticism with the Confucius Institute program, which is basically like a pro-Chinese, Chinese language teaching program. They're paying people to come over here and teach about Chinese culture and or I should say, excuse me, I should say the Chinese pretty much murdered their own culture during the Cultural Revolution under Mao and destroyed all their priceless a lot of their ancient artifacts and stuff. So, the new Chinese culture, I should say, like post-communist revolution.
Yeah.
And this Confucius Institute is basically supposed to push the Politburo in Beijing's agenda in American universities. And American universities have apparently been eating this up with a spoon since they know that Chinese is an important language to learn, and they don't want to pay other people
it's
to do it.
One of the most spoken languages in the world.
Right.
Mandarin
I'm not
Chinese.
saying this is an altogether bad thing. It's just that this reminds me of like far left movements trying to teach pro-communist agenda during the Cold War.
I don't think that's really what it's supposed to be, though. I think it's just meant to teach people the Chinese Mandarin Chinese.
But
how is it different from all this, like the things like the Peace Corps and stuff that the U.S. did, and like pushing American values? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I'm not equating one
because we're better.
Because America, fuck yeah.
I mean, I guess
freedom
when
is
you
the
get
only
down to
way.
it, is it not the same thing?
It's the same thing as like Radio
A
Free
nation
Europe
pushing its agenda.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Radio Free Europe and other things, but there is like a concern that it's basically being used to push a very narrow opinion. I mean, at least when we do Radio Free Europe, we're not saying like, or when we were in the Cold War, we weren't. I guess we were just saying we're America, we're better than you.
Wasn't that the whole point?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think Sarah just brought up a good point too, that this could be them doing this could be so more Chinese people can move over here because people want to leave China.
That is a good point.
So,
and let me tell the people that are considering moving the U.S. from China, the streets are not paved with gold here, but at least you won't be put in a political prison for being a member of the Falun Gong or anything like that.
yeah.
I mean,
And it's not the best here, but it's still pretty good.
yeah, if you're willing to work at Starbucks, because that's pretty much the only jobs we're going to be left with after the end of all this. Before the great earth fart.
The great earth fart to kill us all.
So, our official Exit Earth podcast on the Confucius Institutes is not as dangerous as it sounds in the media.
No. I think spreading more of the Mandarin Chinese language is a good thing because it's like Mandarin Chinese and English and Spanish are the top 3 languages in the world, pretty much.
Yeah.
So getting more people to speak those languages
Actually,
is a lot better.
Actually, I've got an article. Well, we could talk about it if we get to our next big idea. We've got like time left in the program, so if we do 2 big ideas, we'll talk about it later. So I'll leave the article for later, but it's about the future of language and what people should be learning. Star Wars flops in China.
It's because
after
of the Porgs.
2 weeks. I blame the Porgs.
I don't blame the Porgs. I think the Chinese would love the Porgs. But I tell you what, the Chinese don't like minorities in their movies.
Oh, really?
Did you notice that? Look up the Chinese Force Awakens poster. And tell me what you notice about it. If you want to look up there should be comparisons actually, because it's kind of a big thing people noticed. Yeah, look at the differences.
Oh yeah.
What major character has been almost completely taken out of that Chinese poster?
No Finn.
And guess who he was replaced by? BB-8, a robot.
But Rose is an Asian character, but they don't put her on the cover, so
I don't think they did it with the new poster, but there's definitely an issue with Force Awakens in China, I remember. Because having a African American and a female protagonist. So.
Also, good point. Star Wars has no legacy here. It will require something fresh to win back the Chinese audience. So there's no nostalgia to draw back on to make the franchise work.
Yeah. Which is, honestly, I fully expected to see. Because if Star Wars Episode 8 just came out now and there's no big fan base behind Star Wars at all, it'd be a pretty bad movie.
Yeah, really. If you didn't know anything about Star Wars before, this movie would really kind of suck to you.
Oh
yeah,
'Cause
without a doubt.
You wouldn't know where it was coming from. Who is this Luke Skywalker? Why is she worshiping him? You know.
Right.
And the only thing you know about Luke Skywalker is he's a pissed off old man.
We should expect Star Wars to play here as well as Bahubali. I mean, Star Wars to play in China as well as Bahubali played in the United States. It's like Bahubali was like a big Indian epic that made tons of money in the Bollywood circle and worldwide because it's about a battle everybody knows about. And same thing with the Chinese movie Red Cliff, which was a pretty awesome 2-part series. Barely made any money here because nobody knows about the Battle of Red Cliff. So if nobody knows about Star Wars, they're not going to pay money to see Star Wars.
Yeah, and people hold it to such a high status.
And I bet you most of the
too.
tickets were expats going to see it anyway. So
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So.
All right, here's one that is really difficult for me to figure out what side I fall on. NASA pushes for nuclear-powered space missions. So NASA is finally requesting to have and this is especially a problem because the deuterium batteries that people have for not deuterium the plutonium batteries that they were using were to power Voyager and things like that were actually from the nuclear weapons program. And since we don't make nuclear weapons anymore, we're running out of those batteries. So now they're pushing for nuclear-powered space missions. And just how comfortable are we with putting a reactor in space?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, me playing Kerbal Space Program personally know how well nuclear engines work. Saves a lot on fuel, everybody. But, I mean...
Well, we could finally get the Orion project going.
See, I'm actually, as much as I'm pro-nuclear power, and you know you guys know that, I'm actually hesitant about this. I don't think we should have a nuclear-powered... I don't think we should have a fission engine in
Are they going to be...
orbit.
I don't think they're going to be in orbit, personally. I
Well,
think they're made to be...
Assuming it makes it to orbit and doesn't blow up.
That's my problem with it. Then you've got fallout going everywhere. Like it should be something assembled in space.
Oh, I'm sure it would be. Like they'll probably fly up all the parts in a new sort of like space station type mission.
But there's still the issue of getting the shit up there.
Yeah, but if you send it,
send it in pieces though.
Yeah,
like
if you send it in something that'll survive the rocket blowing.
But
up.
what's the volatile thing?
If
the rocket blows up, then if the one rocket that goes up that's delivering the fuel for this nuclear reactor explodes.
Not to mention
that would be awful.
Not to mention it violates so many international treaties with putting anything nuclear in space.
Right. Well, that's what it all comes down to is the treaties.
If nothing goes wrong, everything will be fine. Yeah.
That's the problem.
But knowing the way of space exploration, things can go wrong very easily.
So, the official Exit Earth podcast decision on whether we should make nuclear engines in space is...
Don't know.
Next big disappointment?
This next big disappointment? Rocket carrying fuel up to space explodes. Nuclear fallout everywhere. That's my opinion on it.
All right, Chinese are already using gene editing on humans. Gattaca is here. They're already trying to engineer out congenital and genetic birth defects by engineering them out in the womb before the baby's born. Very cutting edge, amazing stuff.
Oh yeah.
But this edges us ever closer to a world where there's people that pay for designer babies and people that don't, and all the stuff that goes wrong with that.
Then there's gonna be a little disparity there between the classes.
Yeah.
Real humans.
Have you seen
humans?
Have you seen Gattaca?
No.
Assigned homework. We gotta watch Gattaca.
I've seen it.
Yeah. It's a great film about this very subject about a stratified society where one half of society is genetically engineered and the rest are god babies.
I mean, you can kind of think of like the Deus Ex games too, pretty much with the mods,
right?
The augments. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty much the same thing.
How do you think they're going to have long-term space travel without? I mean, people living in space.
I'm not saying this is a bad idea at all.
No, I'm just saying I see your concerns with it, that you can start seeing like a little separation between maybe even a new species will show up.
Yeah, scientifically, medically speaking, this is a really good idea to eliminate.
Oh yeah,
and it'll cut hundreds of millions of dollars in healthcare costs too. On top of that, but the ramifications to society are something that we should probably revisit in another podcast.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think long term you're going to see different variations of people.
There's definitely going to be different
It's just
actual.
it's going to happen.
Different
Right.
actual races of people too, not just by skin color
Different
or
types of
ethnicity,
people.
but
Yeah,
actual
'cause it's
like
just-
races of people.
I think that's just going to happen because of this sort of thing.
Here I posed an interesting question. Maybe we can see what the chat thinks about this too. Is like, what if you could legally, get all the cloning procedures and everything, all the life longevity procedures you can get, theoretically have an infinite lifespan, but the cost is you can't have any children. It's against the law.
I'll do it.
No, I'm not asking if you do it. Do you think that's ethically fair? Because one thing I'm worried about is the free radicals of people that have been genetically engineered, like their CRISPR genes, getting out into the open and doing who knows what with outside of a controlled lab environment.
Yeah, I see.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I would still probably do it. I'd rather have. I mean, I'm selfish. I'd rather have my own longevity over having other people have my genes.
I mean, I'm adopted. I don't.
Yes,
and I know, and you've got
Sarah
an adopted
agrees
son,
with me.
so we're like, yeah, big deal.
Sarah agrees with me. She's like, "Fuck children. Let's do it, Mark."
my bigger concern with extended lifespan like that would be the people who don't die are going to wind up owning and running everything.
Yeah, because it's kind of that thing that
'Cause
you'll
you've
just
already got that.
you'll
It's
just
called
build
a
up an
corporation.
infinite build up an infinite skill set too. Like you'll learn how to do everything pretty
You
much.
just, it's called a corporation. It doesn't
Yeah.
die. It just accumulates, and
Yeah,
and-
that's an interesting thing to think about.
Well, it's not
and
going
if you
to.
have humans like that, one of the things that's throughout history that's been a good thing is the assholes always die in the end. Okay?
Yeah,
Death is the great equalizer.
General Franco, they couldn't get rid of him, but he eventually died,
Right.
and they were able to move on.
Right.
What happens when the assholes who take over and you can't get rid of them? They don't die. Then what?
I just started thinking about
Well,
that.
it doesn't.
That's,
I don't think it's going to matter anyway because of our next article. We're breeding out genes for higher educational attainment, geneticists say.
Wait a
The
minute.
smart aren't breeding.
Oh yeah.
So you and Sarah better get working on that. The smart people aren't having children.
Because I mean,
I shouldn't talk, but as I am also childless. But it is idiocracy becoming real? Let's
see.
find out.
I mean, it does make sense, and stupid people are breeding like rabbits, because they get like what, 6 kids, something like that. I know people that I've graduated with, they have like 5 kids already.
Luckily the effect is small. The loss in intelligence due to the decline of polyedu genes is about 0.03 IQ points per decade. So we're not getting dumb fast enough for idiocracy to happen.
Okay, good. Well, that wraps that up.
Here's an interesting one. Should we consider adolescence? Adolescence! That sounds like an X-rated movie.
Adolescence.
Should we consider adolescence to last until age 24?
I said 21 would be good.
Well, we shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking since
I'm not
people
mature.
since people are living longer, I think that the each of the age spans is just getting wider.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because 40's not really over the hill anymore either. People are having kids at 40 now. So it's like... And at 80. No, I'm just joking.
80 or... That's not even possible.
Oh, I don't know. But
They shouldn't wait till they're 40, I can tell you that.
yeah, I know, you break your back.
Don't wait till your 40s, people.
I mean, it's not going to stop anything, really, because, I mean, I know, particularly my cousins who grew up in a very privileged family, their parents bought them fake IDs and did all this stuff for her that allowed them to drink and go to clubs and all this stuff. And she's not even 21 yet.
Oh my god.
And she's been doing this for years, and it's like...
But just think about the legal ramifications about this. Like, that means that people that are under the age of...
wouldn't start until 24.
Right. So you wouldn't be able to drink, you wouldn't be able to vote, you wouldn't be able to... You'd be in juvie till you're 24.
Would the driving age change too?
Driving age would change.
Look, people grow up as fast as they have to.
That's
yeah, it's
very
different
good
for
point.
everyone.
People grow up as fast as they have to, and if you've got it easy and things are going all right, and you're able to be a fuck up till you're 24 or 30s or whatever,
We're
then
just
if you can get away with, if you can get away with it, people will grow up slower.
So all in all, they're just victims of success, pretty much.
All right.
That's my crotchety old man view of things, anyway.
I agree. Anything else interesting in that article? I can't really see it.
Wow. But here's an interesting thing, though. From a neuroscientific point of view, there may be some basis for extending the definition of this life stage, as research suggests that the cognitive development of the young can last until age 25. So your brain's still growing until you're 25.
My brain's still
growing,
people.
Should it be based on neuroscience?
No.
No?
So, no.
Yeah, Alexander the Great conquered most of the known world by the time he was 18. I'm 36. Look what I've accomplished. This podcast.
Well, it's a pretty great podcast, right?
Next big disappointment.
Oh!
It's time for a new segment, The Next Big Disappointment, where we talk about technology that's probably not going to pan out. And I picked this one, so you can send your hate mail to James.
It's all one
at the
email
Exit
address.
Earth at the Exit Earth podcast. Just say, James, you're wrong, or something to that effect. I think it's going to be the Hyperloop, because putting people in a vacuum tube at 700 miles per hour is not a good idea.
So
it's a recipe for big fun.
People who don't know what this is, pretty much imagine the mail tubes where at the bank and you shove the little thing in the canister and it sucks it up the tube. Imagine being in that canister and being launched across the country.
Or in this case, from San Francisco to L.A. in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like technology could work, but if something goes wrong...
Well, all it needs is one... Okay, I'm not really worried about, about people accelerating so fast and hitting a wall they're going to turn to red mist. I'm worried that there's going to be one leak in the damn thing, and it's just not going to work. And it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars for what? I mean, a maglev train or a bullet train system in this country makes way more sense.
Yeah, we need more of those. I would definitely do a bullet train, maglev type thing.
Yeah, I mean, well...
They already
what's wrong with bullet trains?
They already got the hyper train that goes from London to North Italy in a few hours, I think. It's crazy.
I know the Russians were thinking about building a tunnel under the Bering Strait to connect London to the U.S.
I mean, Alaska. No, Russia to the U.S.
Well, it would make a super highway that would go all the way from London all the way to...
That's how the big fart's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the big fart happens.
That's how the big Siberian fart's going to happen.
I just don't buy it. I don't think
Do that
it's
many
gonna
people
work.
really need to get back and forth between San Francisco and LA
Just
in
take
a
a
half
plane.
hour?
I mean,
is there really that much of a need for it, or is it just kind of a
I think
vanity
it's more-
thing for...
I think it's a
that's
vanity
part.
project.
I think that'll be
for-
part of the big disappointment too, is that it'll make no money. People are just going
It's
to
not cost effective.
People are going to be skeptical of it, not take it, and the only people who are going to take it are people who are
they-
media outlets that are curious.
They've tried to do college tests of this thing using the Hyperloop before, and they could barely get the thing to go 40 miles per hour. I don't think a single... If I might be remembering this wrong, but I don't think a single college team actually completed the track. So it's all this thing needs is one dent, and it's not going to work.
And that could happen by a windstorm or an earthquake in California.
Or a mudslide.
Yeah.
Or a flash fire.
Earthquakes, those don't happen all the time in California, and they're not due for a major one in the next few years, right?
I think politically it's just never going to happen, even if it was technically possible.
They're talking about building one between Gatwick and Heathrow, apparently. So you'd be able to go from Gatwick and Heathrow in the UK in 4 minutes. Between the two airports. But wow, you could get from New York to DC in a half an hour.
That's if it works.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, all the things they were pointing out.
If
like,
it
people
does
aren't
work,
trust it.
it's gonna be an amazing terror target.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People are not
Yeah,
going to trust
that's
this
true.
thing.
That's true. It'll be too easy
Because
to.
I don't want to turn into goop. Thank you very much. Or mist if this thing fails or something goes wrong.
So our Exit Earth official opinion on the Hyperloop is it's the next big disappointment.
Yep.
Moving on.
What does
go
chat
on with that.
think? You've
What
been
do the
quiet.
chat think? All right, we got a couple more articles. This is interesting. I'm just gonna shut this off because I think this ad's playing on the stream. But a Baltimore police officer turned off his body cam and is being charged with tampering with evidence. About frickin' time is what I say.
I'm amazed this happened in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Really? But, yeah, I mean, for sure.
I've been to Baltimore.
I'm amazed it happened in Baltimore of all places. You know.
But I mean, I'm a full body cam supporter. I think that police should have body cams on them all the time, and I'll tell you why. It's not because it's
automatically uploaded, without.
Yep, to a server that's controlled by a public body,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just for the reasons that you'd expect, like for preventing against.
Oh, I'm at 1%. So
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta stop monitoring the stream now.
It's not for just what you'd expect, like preventing against police brutality and things like that. It's for, do you know how easy it's going to be to convict some people when there's video evidence of them?
Oh yeah.
It's going to speed up trials like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
It protects both sides, really.
yeah, it does. It just makes more sense. And anything to cut down our absolutely ludicrous case backlog in our legal proceedings in this country, I think would be a good bet.
As long as it can't be tampered with.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to come up with some sort of like standard for these cameras where it's like that there's certain durability, can't be tampered with, can be triggered remotely, stuff like that. Like, I don't think they should have the ability to turn it off. I feel like it has to be connected to some sort of like third party that turns them on and records and monitors the footage, like you were saying, like a public party.
All right, and this is our last article for tonight for the news segment. In a segment we call "What Did He Do This Time?" which I think we did one earlier, but we're doing another one now.
We gotta think of a little jingle for this.
What did he do this time? Tourism is down under Trump, costing $4.6 billion and 40,000 jobs. So there's our job creator for the tourism sector. I can't tell you how many people I see on Reddit saying, I'm not coming to the U.S. under this administration.
Oh, I believe.
Especially because of our security, our ridiculous security theater we have right now.
I hate crossing the border as an American.
Oh,
Coming
yeah.
back into the country.
Oh, yeah, they're...
It's still a pain in the ass. See, I've been treated worse by our own people than I do overseas.
Oh, my God. I had lunch with a Border Patrol agent once. The guy was the most racist jerk
Oh, yeah.
I could.
Well, they probably get the most racist jokes to intimidate you.
Ironically, he was racist against Canadians. Is what he was racist against.
Well,
Anything Canadian.
What do you think they
hated.
do in the job interview process? Like, how do you feel about Canadians? And he starts going on his rant, and like he's perfect.
Well, I think the job made him hate Canadians because he went on like a 20-minute. I'm not even exaggerating. He went on like a 20-minute rant about everything. It was not a friend of mine. It was a friend of mine, and I just happened to be at dinner with him. All right. Well, the downturn has made America lose its second most popular tourist destination from us to Spain. France is in first place, in case you were wondering. They call it the Trump slump.
The Trump slump. I like it.
I don't think it began with Trump. I think it began after 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it has way more to do with security theater than it does to do
it's
with
all
Trump.
security theater. It's not just Trump. He doesn't help. I mean, he hasn't helped anything, but he didn't start this.
No, I don't blame it entirely on him, but I don't think he helps either.
No.
I think there's a few percentages in that number that he definitely contributed to, but yeah, I agree with you guys.
Experts say that Trump's proposed travel bans, anti-immigration language, and heightened security measures have had a negative impact on the U.S.'s attraction for foreign tourists. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is.
My offhand suspicion would be that after 9/11, people didn't want to deal with the bullshit of crossing the border, and after Trump, people were like, "Fuck that! I don't even want to go there in the first place."
Yeah, that's definitely it.
Exactly, too much. So we're at 123. Did you guys want to talk about another big idea, or do you want to call it wraps for tonight's episode?
I can't monitor the stream anymore, so I don't know if you want to keep going because of that.
Nah, let's wrap up the stream for tonight. And next time we're gonna talk. Our next big idea is secret languages.
Cool.
It's gonna be fun.
For when you want to have something really secret, you invent your own language. We're gonna talk all types of stuff about codes.
Flarp-narp-narf.
Fnarp narp. We'll talk about what Fnarp narp means next time. If you like this stream, please consider following us and liking us.
Share it with your friends.
If you missed part of it and you want to watch the rest of it, you can either watch it here on Twitch, or we have a YouTube channel, which you can find the link for that on our Facebook page. We don't have a YouTube link yet that we can give you that's easy to type in. It's a long string of chaotic numbers and nonsense. So if you go to our Facebook page, Exit Earth Podcast on Facebook, you'll be able to find our YouTube page there, and you can watch us anytime you want. And they'll be on the Twitch. The backup will be on the Twitch for like 14 days or something like that. And then
it's still for 14 days, but you can clip it in the show, and they'll
we're working on we're working on getting a separate computer to record just the audio, so we can upload everything to SoundCloud too for you people that would rather listen to it as a pure podcast than a video. So, again, I'm James.
I'm Mark.
I'm Mike.
And this was the Exit Earth Podcast. Thank you very much for watching.
Goodbye.